I'll just give a quick revision of what we have covered yesterday, and then we move to the next topic. So, till now, what we have done is I've given you an overview of what finance function in any organization covers. It starts with looking out for sources of funds with the objectives behind raising funds clearly defined. So what you are doing, you are first laying out the objectives for which you are having financial needs. Then you look out for funds. You analyze the various available sources of funds. You see what is the risk involved, what is the expected return, and then you narrow down on the sources from which you will be raising funds. After a period of time, you also evaluate whether the entire financial function has been effective or not. So, like a management process, you are starting with the planning and you are ending on the controlling. Controlling means you're looking back, you are seeing whether what you have planned has been achieved or not, and then accordingly you make edits or changes for the future. Now, traditionally, for financial function in any organization, the meaning meant that we are looking for sources of funds. But this entire exercise would be a waste if we are not using the funds raised efficiently. So modern finance is a two-step function. One, you are effectively raising funds, and second, you are effectively utilizing the funds raised. Only then can you say that the financial function has been performed. Okay, so we discussed that there are certain features of finance. You're looking for investment opportunities. Since we are talking from the perspective of a corporate, from the available investment opportunities, you narrow down on profitable options available. You have to decide on the optimal mix of funds, and you are making decisions for the future. So this is all moving step by step in a chronological order. You are raising funds, you are investing funds, then you are making profits, you are distributing those profits, you are looking back at the time period over which all these activities have taken place, you evaluate your performance, and you again plan for the future. Then this was again discussing what areas we are covering in this paper. We'll be taking up concepts from economics, we'll be doing mathematical calculations, we'll be using accounting data, and the financial function itself would then have an impact on the other functions of the organization like production management and marketing management. Okay, so now we start with a very important topic, objectives of financial management. So, as a layman, we say that okay, the objective of an organization is to make profits. But when we are talking about finance and when we are talking as people who are well versed in finance, we say that profit maximization would be a narrower concept, and what we are talking about is wealth maximization. So there is a difference between maximizing the profits of the company and maximizing the wealth of the shareholders. So here I'll introduce two concepts to you. One is the earning per share, and the second is the MPS, the market price of each share. So EPS maximization, maximizing the earning per share is the objective of profit maximization. So for the time being, I've used PM for profit maximization. Whereas when you are trying to maximize the wealth of the shareholders, shareholders are the true owners of the organization. When you are trying to maximize their wealth, you are targeting an increase in the market price of the share. So let's now take up each concept one by one and see how they are different from each other. Let's start with profit maximization. Now, profit maximization is a very well accepted objective of any organization, because over the years you are running an organization, you need funds, and surplus money will come from profits. Again, if you have to evaluate the performance of a firm, then profits earned over the years, that is intra-firm comparison, will make it more easy. Also, if we need to see how well our organization is performing vis-a-vis the other firms in the market, we will see the profits earned by our competitors and what we are earning. तो एक चीज है इंटर फर्म कंपैरिजन, आप आपस में अपने कॉम्पिटिटर्स के साथ चेक करो कि आपके प्रॉफिट्स कैसे चेंज हो रहे हैं, कितना परसेंटेज इंक्रीज या डिक्रीज हो रहा है प्रॉफिट्स में, और यू कैन लुक बैक एंड ओवर द इयर्स यू कैन मेक इंट्रा फर्म कंपैरिजन. दैट इज हाउ योर प्रॉफिट्स are moving, what is the trend in your profits over the years. So you move in any direction, profit maximization is what, which is, it is actually helping you raise funds to meet the other expenditures, day to day expenses of the organization. तो हम कहते हैं कि इकोनॉमिक वेलफेयर के लिए प्रॉफिट मैक्सिमाइजेशन इज द बेस्ट ऑब्जेक्टिव. So, as already told, profit maximization is maximizing the earning per share. Can anyone tell me how is earning per share calculated?
Ma'am, net profit divided by number of outstanding shares of the firm.
Okay, so good Aman has told that it is the net profit divided by the number of shares, and earning per share, when we are calculating, we consider only the equity shares of the firm. So I will show you how this calculation is done. I'm writing down these steps. Please, if there's any doubt at any of these steps, you can stop me in between. I'll explain that to you. So first and foremost, we have sales revenue. So if you remember, sales revenue was nothing but the quantity sold into the price per unit. तो आपकी कंपनी ने over a period of time कुछ sales करी, then what will you do? You will reduce it by all the expenses made during that particular year. Okay, so sales revenue minus expenses gives you profit before interest and taxes. Okay, I am taking a very simple step by step thing. Either nahi do, when we are moving properly, then we have profit before depreciation, interest and taxes. For the time being, I am taking only PBIT, profit before interest and taxes. Now, after that, we reduce the interest paid on the fixed income securities. So, what are fixed income securities? जो equity shares होते हैं, उन पर आपका return fixed नहीं होता. इक्विटी शेयर होल्डर्स को जो रिटर्न मिलता है उसको डिविडेंड बोलते हैं, एंड दैट वेरीज अकॉर्डिंग टू द प्रॉफिट अर्न्ड बाय द फर्म एंड व्हाट पॉलिसीज द फर्म इज फॉलोइंग. On the other hand, you have preference shares where the dividend which the holders will receive is prefixed. That is, at the time of issue itself, it is defined that these are 10% preference shares. तो जो भी प्रेफरेंस शेयर से 100 रुपए का है तो हर ईयर शेयर होल्डर को 10 रुपए डिविडेंड मिलेगा. सो दिस इज प्रीफिक्स्ड. सेम इज द केस फॉर एनी डिबेंचर्स यू हैव इशू. डिबेंचर्स मतलब कंपनी ने पब्लिक से पैसा उधार लिया है फॉर अ पीरियड ऑफ टाइम. तो जब आप उधार ले रहे हो तो उसी टाइम, एट द टाइम ऑफ इशू इटसेल्फ, it is defined that these debentures carry, say, 5% rate of interest. 5% debentures, rupees 100. This means face value rupees 100. 5% इंटरेस्ट का मतलब हर ईयर इन डिबेंचर्स पर आप 5 रुपए इंटरेस्ट पे करोगे. Whatever I am talking from the point of view of the company. So there shouldn't be any confusion. जब हम इंडिविजुअल के पर्सपेक्टिव से इन्वेस्टमेंट की बात करते हैं, दैट इज इन्वेस्टमेंट मैनेजमेंट. बट व्हेन वी आर टॉकिंग फ्रॉम द पर्सपेक्टिव ऑफ द कंपनी on how to make financial decisions, where to invest, we are talking about corporate finance or financial management. So I reduce the profit before interest and taxes by interest paid on debentures. या फिर आपने बैंक से लोन लिया है तो उस पर आपने इंटरेस्ट पे करना है, वो यहाँ पर हमने माइनस. अब आपके पास आता है प्रॉफिट बिफोर टैक्स. यू विल पे टैक्स. दिस टैक्स इज कॉर्पोरेट टैक्स and the company gets profit after tax. Now, प्रॉफिट आफ्टर टैक्स जो कंपनी के पास होता है, सारे खर्चे करके अब जो प्रॉफिट बचा है, दैट कैन बी फर्दर क्लेम्ड बाय शेयर होल्डर्स. उसमें से जो फिक्स्ड क्लेम है वो प्रेफरेंस शेयर होल्डर्स का है, तो उनको अब हम क्या पे कर रहे हैं, यहाँ पर हम उनको प्रेफरेंस डिविडेंड पे कर रहे हैं. नाउ व्हाट रिमेन्स is EAES, which stands for earnings available to equity shareholders. This amount of money belongs to the equity shareholders. Now it is up to the board of directors whether this money will be distributed as a dividend or money will be retained, or some money will be distributed and some money will be retained. Can anyone tell me how is this decision made? कंपनी कैसे डिसाइड करेगी कि पैसा डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करना है या कितना पैसा डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करना है? हाउ विल द कंपनी डिसाइड?
Ma'am, based upon if they have couple of projects like thought about in the upcoming year or so, so then they'll mark like how much do we have to reinvest in the business, and if there is some leftover after that, then they can distribute to the shareholders as a dividend.
Okay. Okay, good. Yes, anyone else would like to add? कंपनी कैसे डिसाइड करती है कितना रिटेन करना है और कितना डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करना है?
मैम, आई गेस इट विल डिपेंड ऑन द कंपनी बिजनेस मॉडल.
बिजनेस
कंपनी का बिजनेस मॉडल क्या है?
ठीक
अगर
है.
मैम कोई कंपनी सर्विसेज देती है तो वो रिटेन करेगी अपने प्रॉफिट को, और कोई कंपनी है जो रॉ मटेरियल में डील करती है, लाइक कोल कंपनी हो गई, तो मैम वो डिविडेंड को शेयर कर देगी.
क्यों बेटा, ऐसा क्यों होगा? इसके बिहाइंड क्या रीजनिंग होगी? Because this is a new point, I would also like to know what should be the reasoning behind this.
बिकॉज मैम जो कोल कंपनी है, लाइक एग्जांपल, कोल
Hmm.
कंपनी में मैम कंपनी के पास कोई फ्यूचर में कोई वो नहीं है कि वो उसको एक्सपेंड करना चाहेगा। और जो सर्विसेज दे रही है, कोई आईटी कंपनी है वो सर्विसेज दे रही है अपनी, तो मैम उसके पास एक फ्यूचर प्रोस्पेक्ट होगा कि हम अपने बिजनेस को आगे फर्दर इंक्रीज कर सकते हैं।
पुनीत, आप जो बोल रहे हो बेटा वो पार्शियली करेक्ट है। ऐसी कोई भी कंपनी नहीं होगी जिसके पास फ्यूचर प्रोस्पेक्ट ही नहीं होगा। नहीं तो अगर आपके पास कोई फ्यूचर ऑब्जेक्टिव ही नहीं है तो आप तो कंपनी क्लोज डाउन कर लोगे। हर कंपनी के पास एक विजन होता है, एक फ्यूचर ऑब्जेक्टिव्स होते हैं, एक आउटलाइन होती है कि हम आज से 5 साल या 10 साल में कहाँ पर स्टैंड करना चाहते हैं। So, like when you appear in interviews, you are asked, where do you see yourself 5 years down the line? You will not say कि मेरा कोई future prospect नहीं है. Okay, this same concept applies to a company also, be it a service company, be it a manufacturing company, be it the company like you mentioned, which is based on non-renewable sources of energy. Every company has some vision for itself. Okay. नाउ बिजनेस मॉडल जो आप डिफाइन कर रहे हो उसमें कहीं ना कहीं हर कंपनी फ्यूचर के लिए प्लान कर रही है और वहां पर उसको कुछ प्रोजेक्ट्स हो सकते हैं, जैसे अमन ने भी बताया, वेयर इट वांट्स टू इन्वेस्ट। so that would be one criteria which will be considered when we are deciding how much to retain and how much to distribute. I think Puneet, this is clear. Okay, any other criteria anyone can think of? क्या सिर्फ प्रोजेक्ट्स के बेसिस पे आप डिसीजन लोगे? तो ऐसे तो हर कंपनी कहेगी कि हमारे को बहुत सारी इन्वेस्टमेंट करनी है, हम अपने शेयर होल्डर्स को डिविडेंड नहीं देंगे।
Shareholder source of income also matters.
The shareholders
Source of income, as there are some companies who generally provide dividend on a regular basis.
यस, सो इसको हम क्या बोलते हैं? इसको हम बोलते हैं शेयर होल्डर्स की एक्सपेक्टेशंस। तो कंपनी टोटली डिसरिगार्ड नहीं कर सकती उन लोगों को जिन्होंने पैसा लगाया हुआ है कंपनी में। सो कंपनी हैज टू सैटिस्फाई द एक्सपेक्टेशंस। कंपनी विल आल्सो लुक एट द पास्ट ट्रेंड ओवर द इयर्स, क्या डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन रहा है डिविडेंड का। उसी तरह आपके कॉम्पिटिटर्स क्या रख रहे हैं अपनी पॉलिसी, और सबसे बड़ी प्रायोरिटी yes is of the projects in which you want to invest. Now keeping all this in mind, just give me a second. Okay, keeping all this in mind, the company decides on the dividend payout ratio. Dividend payout ratio, the DP ratio, which is simply the dividend to be distributed divided by profits. Puneet, you will have to mute yourself. Disturbance at your end. Okay, so dividend payout ratio decide हुआ। अब कंपनी डिसाइड करेगी इसमें से कितना पैसा इक्विटी शेयर होल्डर्स को दिया जाएगा और कितना कंपनी अपने पास रिटेन करेगी। ओके, so dividend to be distributed and the profit retained, जिसको हम retained earnings बोलते हैं। So earning per share is your profit after tax divided by the number of equity shareholders. So profit after distribution of tax and preference dividend divided by the number of equity shares. Okay, so one objective of the company would always be to maximize the earning per share of the equity shareholders. So in that sense, profit maximization is considered to be an appropriate objective.
And what is EAES?
Sorry?
EAES.
I didn't get you. EAES is earnings available to equity shareholders.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, now this brings us to the favorable arguments for profit maximization. तो profit earn करना है, उसी से आपकी efficiency पता चलती है, आगे फ्यूचर के लिए पैसा आप सेव करते हो और इकोनॉमिक वेलफेयर भी इसी में है क्योंकि लिमिटेड है फैक्टर्स ऑफ प्रोडक्शन, उनको जितना एफिशिएंटली यूज करोगे उतना इकोनॉमिकली भी बेटर. But then what are the points which take us to our prime objective, which is wealth maximization? Why are we shifting from profit maximization to wealth maximization? First and foremost reason or demerit of profit maximization is that it is an ambiguous concept. Ambiguous का मतलब क्या होता है? What is literal meaning of ambiguous? What do you mean by ambiguous?
Ma'am, confusing and uncertain.
Confusing, something which is not clear, so it is something which is vague. So ambiguity क्यों है profit objective में? There is no single definition of profit. Some people interpret it as profit before tax. Somewhere it is interpreted as profit after tax. So, and some firms aim at maximizing profit before interest and taxes. So there is no single universally accepted definition of the term profit. So in that sense, profit maximization is an ambiguous concept. The second demerit, very important demerit of the profit maximization objective is that it ignores the timings of benefit. So I'll try and explain it using a simple example. So let's take this to the project. Okay, so there's an example on your screens. There are two projects before the firm. These are two options before the firm, either to invest in project A or to invest in project B. The only information which we are considering right now is that both the projects involve an initial investment of rupees 1 lakh. कैश आउटफ्लो है, इसलिए यहाँ पर हम इसको ब्रैकेट में दिखा रहे हैं. दिस इज अ नेगेटिव वैल्यू, दिस इज अ कैश आउटफ्लो. नाउ think and tell me, both the projects are in the end giving you the same cash inflow 1,20,000, और अगर आप देखो तो प्रॉफिट आपको 20,000 मिल रहा है दोनों प्रोजेक्ट से, प्रोजेक्ट ए एंड प्रोजेक्ट बी. Think and tell me which project should be preferred. Put in the chat box, everyone. Yes. Okay, so one response I've got from Sharad. Yes. What about others? I need response from everyone in the class. What about others? Think and write. You should have some reason, some thinking behind why are you preferring one over the other. Yes, more of you. Yes, what about others? No preference, no choice, indifferent. I believe the others are not listening to me then. I need more responses. Okay, so what I see is that most of you are answering B. So first I'll ask Sharad. Sharad, unmute yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, why project A?
Ma'am, because after second, it start is increasing, whereas the B1 decreasing continuously. That's why I choose A.
Okay, okay, no problems. Okay, Ayan, you answer why you choose project B. Ayan, unmute yourself. Ayan Khan, unmute yourself. Any problem in your mind? Okay, chalo, no problems. Then who will answer? Okay, Siddhant. सिद्धांत, अपने माइक में तो प्रॉब्लम नहीं होगी वे सिद्धांत. Akash, you unmute yourself and give the reasoning behind selecting B. You people are not comfortable even answering. Unmuting yourself. राकेश, आप आंसर करो. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
So then, what happened? Not hearing me properly. None of the students I am calling out are answering. मुदित, आप आंसर करो.
Yes, ma'am.
हाँ जी. Yes, आंसर.
बी में इसलिए मतलब इन्वेस्ट किया बिकॉज मतलब मैम इसमें जो स्टार्टिंग की इनकम है वो काफ़ी मतलब एक स्टेडी इनकम लग रही थी कंपैरेटिवली।
Comparatively steady income लग रही है. Okay, anyone else? Anvesha, you tell me the reason behind choosing B.
No, I did the same because starting में steady लग रही थी.
Okay, starting में steady income लग रही है. Any better explanation? Anyone would?
Ma'am, can it
Yes,
be
yes, Vansh. Yeah.
inflation we can factor in?
Very good. Excellent. Okay, so most of you are on the right path, that you're saying that B is giving more income initially. शरद, आप जो बोल रहे हो वो आप बोल रहे हो कि यहाँ पर स्टेबिलिटी ज्यादा है एज कंपेयर टू प्रोजेक्ट बी. नाउ द करेक्ट आंसर इज प्रोजेक्ट बी. व्हाट इज द रीजन बिहाइंड दिस? The reason behind this is that it is better for a firm to collect as much return as possible early in the duration of the project. तो जितनी जल्दी पैसा रिसीव करेंगे ज्यादा से ज्यादा उतना ज्यादा अच्छा है, क्योंकि फ्यूचर इज अनसर्टेन and there is a possibility that there will be inflation and the value of money will fall. The purchasing power of money will fall. This concept
Got it, ma'am.
This concept is known as time value of money. Okay, this we'll be doing in detail in this unit itself. So after a couple of classes we'll be starting with this. तो टाइम वैल्यू ऑफ मनी को हम कैसे डिफाइन करते हैं? ₹1 has more value today than ₹1 received a year later. तो आज जो आप 1000 रुपीज से परचेज कर सकते हो, आने वाले 1 ईयर में आप इतनी परचेजेस नहीं कर पाओगे. या फिर जैसे हम लेमन लैंग्वेज में बोलते हैं, मेरे टाइम पे ये चॉकलेट 10 रुपए की आती थी, आज ये 20 रुपए की आती है. तो उतनी ही क्वांटिटी के लिए अब आपको ज्यादा पे करना पड़ रहा है. दिस इज वन ऑफ द रीजंस बिहाइंड दिस इज इन्फ्लेशन. ऑल्सो अगर आपने किसी को उधार दिया है तो आज 1000 रुपए मिलेंगे, या वो आपको ऑप्शन देता है कि मैं आपको 6 महीने के बाद 1000 रुपए दूं. आप क्या प्रेफर करोगे कि आज ही वो पैसा मेरे पास वापस आ जाए, बिकॉज फ्यूचर इज अनसर्टेन. So because of all these reasons we say that money has a time value. So project A is giving you the same money, but the greater percentage is being received later, that is at the end of 4th and 5th year. And in case of project B, money is being received early on. तो वही 30,000 है, पर वो फर्स्ट ईयर में मिल रहा है और यहाँ पर 5th ईयर और 4th ईयर में मिल रहा है. इस 30,000 और इस 30,000 की वैल्यू में डिफरेंस होगा. सेम अमाउंट है, पर जो उसकी रियल वैल्यू है वो फर्स्ट ईयर में ज्यादा होगी और 4th ईयर में कम होगी. So that is why we will prefer projects where initially you are getting more return, more cash inflow. I hope this is clear to everyone. Even this 30,000 is not equal in value to the second cash flow. एक साल में ही दोनों की वैल्यू में डिफरेंस आ जाए. So timing of benefits is not considered by profit maximization principle. वहां पर हम ये बोलते हैं कि दोनों ही प्रोजेक्ट सेम है, क्योंकि दोनों से ही 20,000 का प्रॉफिट आ रहा है, दोनों का ही रिटर्न 20% है ऑन द इन्वेस्टमेंट मेड. बट व्हेन वी आर टॉकिंग एज अ expert in finance, as a finance student, you will say that project B is better than project A. So let's move back to the points of criticism. So timing of benefits needs to be considered, which is to a large extent ignored by the profit maximization objective. The third and again a very important flaw in profit maximization is that it ignores the quality of benefits. So let's take another example to explain this. So I'm again taking two projects A and B. I'm taking the years here. So let's take this as 0. So now you have two projects. One project, project A, B, again same in all respects, same cash outflow, same profit. They are giving 10,000 each. Now you see that in case of both the projects, the duration on life is 5 years. So now which project do you prefer here? Which project will be preferred? Okay, so Gaurav, why do we prefer project B now?
मैम क्योंकि मैम ए में 2 साल 3rd and 4th ईयर में मैम वो प्रॉफिट तो आ ही नहीं रहा इसलिए
क्योंकि एक कंटिन्यूटी है in the return from project B, whereas in case of project A, you can see 2 years you are not getting any return. So there is more risk in project A. Yes, and absolutely right. There's a regular inflow in project B. So profit maximization will again say both projects are equally good, but wealth maximization will say project B is better because there is a regularity in the income earned. तो आप वेल्थ मैक्सिमाइजेशन, अब जो प्रॉफिट मैक्सिमाइजेशन का नेगेटिव है वही पॉजिटिव हो जाएगा वेल्थ मैक्सिमाइजेशन का. तो यहाँ पर प्रॉफिट मैक्सिमाइजेशन में क्वालिटी ऑफ बेनिफिट्स आर इग्नोर्ड. ओके, तो अपार्ट फ्रॉम दिस यहाँ पर नंबरिंग में प्रॉब्लम आ रही है फॉर्मेटिंग में. दिस इज द 4th fifth, and then the sixth point. Apart from this, we say that a company which focuses only and only on profit maximization might start practicing immoral acts. It might lead to worker exploitation, and it is against social welfare. Okay, because then the company is focusing on making profits at any cost. So all these are the reasoning, all these are the demerits of going for a pure profit maximization objective. Okay, so I stop here. That's enough for the day.